Hi guys, thank you for taking the time to have a look at this. The title of this video is There Are No Rocks on Flat Earth. If you haven't come to know the truth of Flat Earth yet, I suggest you look into it because you have been bullshitted your whole life and there is truth out there. Right, back to the rocks. Right now we've all seen rocks and they come in various sizes and shapes, but what exactly are they? Because of mainstream science, they have given us a picture of what a rock is, how it is formed, and what exactly it is made of. Well, I challenge that idea and I'd like you to have a look at this and make up your own mind. Right, before we get started, I'd just like to say that this is not another video about the giant tree stumps. Awesome as it was, this is something completely new. I propose an experiment. What you'll need for this experiment, you can either go down to the beach, or if you've got access to a sandbox, you'll need some straws or a straw, and you'll need a bottle of water or a couple of bottles of water. Now science has told us that all the features, all the geological features of Earth as we've seen it are due to movement of the tectonic plates, volcanic lava, wind, and water erosion. So everything you see on Earth is due to those factors. Before we get into our experiment, I'd just like to draw your attention to the word fractal. Now, some of these geological features we'll be looking at are known in the scientific world as fractals. The definition is a curve or geometrical figure, each part of which has the same statistical character as the whole. They are useful in modeling structures such as snowflakes, in which similar patterns reoccur at progressively smaller scales, and in describing partly random or chaotic phenomena such as crystal growth or galaxy formation. Right, this is what fractals look like, and we also get fractals in nature, and that's when we're looking at leaves and leaf structures, things like that, snowflakes, trees, plants, all shapes and forms, reoccurring patterns. Ready for the experiment? Here it is. Using the straw to blow through to simulate wind erosion, and using your water from your water bottles to simulate water erosion, you're going to make a pattern in the sand. I'm going to show you the pattern shortly. Are you ready for it? The pattern we need to make is the branch of a fir tree. The branch of a fir tree. As I zoom out over here, see when you can see the branch of the fir tree. Dead easy, right? Wind always sculpts pretty patterns in the ground. Must be water. No, wait. Magic volcanoes. Magic volcanoes. Look at that branch of a fir tree with such intricate detail, and of course on a colossal scale. What are we looking at here? 25.64 miles, 41.26 kilometers. How's that pattern coming on in the sand? Is it possible with wind? Is it possible with water? What do you guys think? Right, now if you thought that was intricate, let's have a look at something else. Here we are in Egypt. Look at the intricacy of this. Wind, water, erosion, bullshit. If you're not clear, see if you can form it with your erosion experiment. Look at the detail. Unbelievable. Wherever you look around the plain, you find these intricate foliage patterns all over the show. And these things are massive. If you zoom out, it's a massive chunk of Egypt that's got this whole thing covered. Look at that. It looks like, I don't know, flowers, seeds. What do you guys think? Look at that, just a small little piece over there. over 3 miles. Look at the intricacy of that. Right, now I've been spending about 3 days. I've looked all over the show, around the earth, and man, this stuff is everywhere, and just as detailed as this. Here's just a couple of examples. I don't want to spend too much time on it because this is only the beginning of the story. Now we can spend 3 hours just looking at these different fractals of leaf structure all over the plane. Then I started to focus my attention on some of the other phenomena that you can find, which very, very strongly resemble bark. Have you ever seen a tree? Go and look at a tree. Go and check out the bark. And this stuff is also all over the show. This stuff is bark. I find it hard not to see it as bark anymore. Right, now the next thing I started to do was to follow these bark structures and seeing exactly where they led to. Then I came across this section over here. Now this is underwater, and I think Google really slipped up by allowing us to see what is happening underwater. Now, using your sandpit and your erosion experiment, what would cause this funny shape over here? And then I started to realize, well, I'm going to need to see exactly what the seabed looks like. So of course, using our trusty disinformation Google, which can provide healthy information, I found the following. Now brace yourself, because this is going to be a shocker. Now tell me, am I looking at a tree? Is that what it looks like to you? To me it looks like a tree. Massive, massive scale. Look at the size of Africa compared to the size of that tree trunk. Or is that a branch? Damn, it's massive. And this is just one piece of the ocean floor. Let me show you on a larger scale. Right, so what do you see? Freaky, eh? Completely bizarre. Look at this one. So can you grasp the scope of what we're looking at here? I'm wondering if the reason they don't want to show us what the Earth looks like is we might actually recognize a tree when we see it. I don't know if we can see underwater structures if we have sufficient altitude or not, but this is just weird. Look at this section coming down over here. I mean, it just looks like branches. I mean, would you recognize a branch if you saw it? How about you try and recreate this with erosion? Would that make sense? To me it doesn't. This whole section over here, this looks like one branch, this looks like another branch going off to the right. Looks like a tree that was standing upright and fell forward towards you, face down. Now what I will say is, particularly the section between Australia and South America and between North America, this whole section, I think that they are hiding additional sea area in there, and I think that's what accounts for the distortion. Now I know as a flat earther, I mean, we're quick to jump at the azimuthal equidistant map, and believe me, I've tried, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. but I've got a few thoughts on that. You guys can tell me what you think. For those of you who don't know, this is what the azimuthal equidistant projection looks like. So it's almost a top-down view with the outside being stretched. And the problem I have with this is the literal stretching. I think the inside, the North Pole, gets squashed and the South Pole just gets extended. But the problem is it changes the sizes between the continents, between Africa and South America, and I think that's where distortion happens. And I think that's one of the big reasons why we haven't got an accurate map of our world, is we keep on referring to stuff like this. Azimuthal equidistant projection I think is great for understanding roughly what the shape of the Earth is, but I don't think it's an accurate representation just yet, and I'm going to show you why. Right, now there's a couple of ways you can get an azimuthal equidistant projection. You can download from one of the websites, or alternatively, if you've got PaintShop, that's this one, Adobe Photoshop, you can create your own. I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'm going to show you exactly how the distortion looks. Now what I'm looking at is the literal distance, let's say between Cape Town over here and the bottom part of South America, and let's say between Cape Town and the section of South America that sticks out over here. Now what happens with the azimuthal equidistant projection is it distorts the literal distance, and that I think is causing us not to be able to see Earth as it actually is. Have a look at this and you'll see exactly what I mean. So over here it's made a loop of the polar coordinates and joined the two sides together. Have a look at the North Pole, you can see how squashed it is, and of course where the South Pole is, well, that's just way disproportionate. Now have a look at the distance from Cape Town, South Africa to the bottom side of South America, and you can see the distance has increased significantly, and that is the same thing that we see on the normal azimuthal equidistant of the Earth. So that's why I don't think this is an accurate way of doing it. Now what I thought the problem perhaps is the literal distance, and the only place that the distance can be changed over here is in the area between America and China. This whole side between Australia and South America, this whole piece, I think there's additional sea mass in over there, and we don't have that, and that is what's causing this immense distortion on. And I don't think we're going to get around that easily. I think we need to find a new way of creating a map. Now I'd like to draw your attention to something quite interesting that I found while I was looking at all the shapes of the bark and the leaves and everything, and I'm particularly going to focus on the bark. And I noticed that everywhere where you find bark, right the way up all over the world, where you find the patterns of bark, it somehow seems to match everywhere that you find oil. So is this a coincidence that everywhere where we see bark on Google Earth we happen to be able to find oil? I wonder if we could find some other minerals based on what it looks like on Google Earth and then be able to track it. Gold, diamonds, what do you guys think? Now I don't know if what we have found is the tree of life. I really can't say. I know it's big. I know it bears striking similarities to what a tree looks like, what foliage looks like. I can say that if you go into Wikipedia and you put in there tree of life, there's a lot of valuable information you can look at. One question you might want to ask yourself is, how come all these ancient peoples have this understanding of a giant tree? Giant tree. Why is that? What happened to that in our history books? Has it been erased? Has it been intentionally hidden from us? I don't know, guys. You figure it out. Help me understand this. This is like just weird. Whichever way, one thing's for sure, eventually the truth will come out. And another thing that's for sure is, well, the earth is flat. And much love to all of you out there. Good luck, and send me some info. Help us figure this out. Thanks for your time. Peace out.